guys for joining us again this week for another installment of Ask Epic. We are so excited to have everyone with us today. We meet every Wednesday to discuss all things Epic, and we want to provide our families with information and resources about all the opportunities that we offer. I'm Sarah Nunley, and I'm with the Epic Development Team.
Hey there, and I'm Ashley Brown, and I'm also from the development team. So we're excited to be here again this week, already into October. And so today we're going to talk with our co-op groups. So we'll kind of dive more into what that is. For those of you that don't know, we're going to dive more into that today. But we're really excited that you're joining us. So those of you that are joining, if you have questions or comments, we would love to hear those. We just ask that you put them in the chat box and we will get to those as we see them. But we really do love whenever we get a chance to answer your questions, especially while we have this team of, like we like to say, experts on to answer those questions. In case you have a question that maybe is not relevant to today's topic, or might need to go a little more in depth, we're going to drop our team's phone number and email address in the chat box. You are welcome to reach out, and someone from Sarah and I's department will reach out to you, and we love to get to talk to you guys and answer your questions one on one. So anyways,
Absolutely.
let's dive in.
Absolutely. We love to talk to all of our families. So here at Epic, we offer a variety of learning models that meets individual needs. So we encourage and provide multiple approaches to learning, recognizing that every student has a unique learning need. We believe that socialization and learning can complement each other and be beneficial to our families and students.
Yeah, and so we're really excited that today we have Rita joining us and a few of their lead teachers from the EPIC co-ops. So we were talking with some people in our department the other day. We feel like these co-ops at EPIC are kind of like a best kept secret. It's so funny. There's a lot of people that aren't aware that these exist, and then the ones that know, it's like, if you know, you know. They're really, really cool. So we're so excited to get to share this with you today, let you in on the secret. And so joining us, so like I said, we have Rita, which she kind of helps kind of facilitate, looks over all the co-ops. And then we also have some of the lead teachers from these various co-ops. So we have Julie, Andy, Amy, and then I think Mallory's going to join us here soon. So thank you, ladies, for joining us and sharing more about what you do. We have a lot to learn today.
Yeah, we are so excited. Rita, I'd like to get started with you. And for those that aren't aware, can you tell us exactly how a co-op works?
Yes, Sarah, thank you for that question. So my name is Rita Ofaya, and I am with the school support team. So EPIC Co-op Group is actually a group of four or more teachers who structure classes around small group of kids on their on their rosters. Now, the students are often grouped by their age grade and receive direct, lesson from their teachers. The kids also work on common goal and tasks as directed by their teachers. Students at our co-ops also have the opportunity to participate in electives and other, enrichment classes. And co-op, these groups, they provide a learning environment where our students feel more supported and are more engaged in their learning. And through the ability to be able to socialize with other kids, our students are able to improve their communication skills, teamwork ability, responsibility, and empathy, among other many life skills. And being a part of a co-op, it fosters a sense of community and belonging for our students.
Oh, Rita, I love that. What a great answer and explanation on co-ops, because I think a lot of people probably think co-ops, well, they're a great place for our students to maybe get their schoolwork done. But it is so much more than that, obviously. And it's very needed for a lot of these students for socialization's sake, for nothing else. Could you maybe touch on how these co-ops got started with Epic?
So for as long as I can remember, and I've been around EPIC for a long time, co-op has always been, you know, a thing at EPIC. Our different groups, they are started by teachers who, in an effort to better meet the needs of their students, both academically, socially, and otherwise. They kind of form these groups, organically just to make sure that they meet their kids. Currently, we have 33 groups that are registered co-ops at EPIC, and these groups are spread out across the 77 counties of Oklahoma. So it's always been around.
Okay, that is awesome. See, and I think maybe a lot of people don't realize that they're an option or know how to get plugged into them. So that's so interesting. So what maybe is your background or story as far as a motivating factor for getting started with these co-ops?
So like I mentioned, this is my 14th year with EPIC. And I was a teacher for 12 of those years before I transitioned to my current role as an instructional and co-op school support specialist. So I really know firsthand the benefit of working and collaborating with other teachers to provide a high quality of education to our kids. And so in this role, I am really passionate about, I'm trying to support our co-ops as best as I can. I work with the lead teachers just to be able to identify what they need at their co-ops and find ways to better support them. So I'm a big, I believe in EPIC and what we offer, and I just try to find ways to support our co-ops.
It's obvious you're very passionate about that, which is it's amazing because it always comes through, I feel like, to everyone when you guys have a passion for what you do. Um, would anyone else like to kind of discuss maybe how you guys got started with the co-op, like maybe what motivated you to do so?
Yeah, I would love to share. I've been doing a co-op for 4 years, and the very first year, it was just my second year at Epic, and me and a couple other teachers just decided like we need a way to get kids together. And so we just basically teamed up with one of the churches in the area and said, let's just like we can group grade levels together because we were very limited on teachers. And so that's what we did. And just bringing those kids together and just providing some routine and just structure outside of their home setting was huge for them. And like at that time, we weren't all using Epic Ed, things like that. So we were just basically teaching standards. And so since then, it has grown so much. I know for me and my teachers in my area, but that first experience was just such a foundation that we could see that it was just so important to bring these kids together and to teach them in groups and small groups. And we saw so much growth from that.
Anyone else want to chime in? Amy, that was great. Seriously, that kind of gave me goosebumps a little bit. Just, as a parent, you want to hear that your students are not only just doing well, but thriving in an environment and connecting with others. So thank you for sharing that.
I started doing grade level groups by myself. And this is my 11th year with Epic. And I started probably, I think, my second year with Epic doing that. And then it was like my friend, oh, wait a minute, I'm really good at English. How about you take the math portion? And so we brought her kids. And then a few years later, we added a couple of other teachers. But then once COVID hit, that all for me petered out. But then I found this co-op, and this co-op is quite large. But what my students have thrived on is being with other kids and learning from a teacher who's an expert in that area. So it's been great for my students.
Yeah, this is Andy, and this is my 10th year. And so I've been doing a co-op, an in-person co-op for, this is our second year doing it. And it kind of came around to at the beginning of my Epic years, I was trying to help families connect with co-ops that were already organic in the community and already running. And that way they could have that social aspect that I saw was so vital for like doing school at home. And then even my own kids are doing school at home. And so wanting to find them a place to like have a day or two a week to go and be with other kids and learn other skills that maybe come from someone like gardening or, just random things that don't have to necessarily be structured in an academic standard setting. And so my nephew and my niece got involved in Epic, and my nephew was like, hey, why don't we do something like this? And he had this dream of a co-op merging, out of Epic. And so I just taken notes, whatever he said. And anyway, so the reward and just, connecting kids with other kids, and they become their own support group in different stages of whatever they're going through, along with the academic side, has kind of been what has led us on the co-op road.
That's really neat to hear. I mean, I think from what I'm hearing from you guys, there's a benefit for the students first and foremost, right? But there's also that benefit there for, I think, teachers, obviously, because you, like you said, you play off of each other's strengths, and that makes you better educators, which is great for our students. But I also think too, and I don't think anybody said this, but that's what my mind goes to as a parent. I think it's beneficial for parents as well. I know when I visited co-ops, I saw all the parents kind of, they had their groups that they were hanging out with and speaking with. And so, again, it's building that community and finding other families that are in the same situation as you. And that just builds you up, and it makes everybody better. So, I think I loved hearing everybody's kind of motivation for getting involved. You guys all have a passion for what you do. So, thanks for sharing that. Well, Andy, we just talked to you, but I actually have a question for you right off the bat. Can you tell me, are there any requirements for students to participate in co-ops, and what are those?
Yes, so requirements, the really most important thing is that the teacher of record is a part of that co-op. And I think that's generally speaking for all co-ops across the state, is that it's important that you are with a teacher that's actually there at the co-op. And that's basically the only requirement.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we want to make sure that if your student wants to participate, you have to have a teacher that is also participating, because everybody that's co-op, it's a cooperative, everybody pitches in, right? Everybody kind of chips in their own weight there. So thank you for that. Well, Julie, I'm going to talk to you now. Do the co-ops have a cap or like a limit of students that can participate in each group, or is it just, how does that work? Is there a size limit?
I'm sure there will be, but no, because for us, it would be not so much limiting students, it's limiting how many teachers can join our co-op, just because we can't have 50 teachers because we can't accommodate 50 teachers' students. And so it's more of like how many, if the teacher has an average of 10 to 15 students that are going to come, how many teachers can we have so that we don't overload the building or the teachers while they're here at co-op.
Sure. So hopefully we don't ever hit that point, but probably someday I'm sure that will happen. Absolutely. But for right now, it seems like as long as your teacher's there, your student can participate. Okay, so I think this question we were going to ask Mallory, but I don't think she's here yet. So I'll just leave this for Rita or whoever else wants to answer. And Rita, I think you said this at the beginning, but are there co-ops all over the state, or are they only in certain locations?
We have co-ops spread across all the state of Oklahoma. I mean, from Edmond, Emmy is in Lawton. We have some in Durant. We're spread across, Oklahoma State. So yes.
All over the place. Yeah, that's great to hear. And I think you guys have mentioned that new co-ops are appearing every year, right? So just because there's not a group maybe in your area right this moment, that doesn't mean there won't be in the future, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice. Amy, I'm going to throw this question at you. We've got a lot of questions, so we're going to be bouncing back and forth to everyone today. Are all co-ops the same size?
Okay, so they are not. And here's what I've experienced with my own co-ops. So the very first year, we had 25 kids. And then the second year, it shrunk even smaller because it was just me and one other teacher. And so, but then the last 2 years, so last year we've had 60 plus kids, and this year we have 100 plus kids on our roster.
Wow.
So no, they can vary from very few to a whole lot. But once again, it just comes down to the number of teachers that you have. We currently have 8 teachers, and so we can handle a larger roster to accommodate all of those students.
Oh, sure. That's awesome. That's awesome for families to hear,
Yes,
that they can be smaller or they can be larger and it kind of fits everybody.
sure.
Um, Rita, let me ask you a question now. How often do these co-ops meet? Is there, does it differ a little bit? And how many days a week can students attend?
So each co-op is, very, very unique in their approach. We have some groups that meet once a week. We have a few that meet twice every week. And then we even have some that meet 3 or 4 days. So, the decision is up to each co-op based on the needs of their kids, their students, and also on the availability of meeting space. So each co-op comes up with their own schedule and what works best for them.
So
Yeah.
I'm understanding it's individualized, correct? It's more
Yes,
individual to each co-op. Okay, that's amazing.
Can I branch off of that just for 1 second? I'm
Of
sorry.
course.
oh no,
Another thing that plays a huge factor in that is scheduling, which can almost become a game of Tetris. Because when you have a lot of kids and you only have a limited number of teachers, you may only, for example, we only have our pre-K through second graders only come once a week. And then our high schoolers only come once a week, but third through eighth graders are required to come twice a week. So you kind of have to get creative on your scheduling um, to know if they come once or twice a week.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. There's, like you said, I think that's so funny. It's a game of Tetris. Oh, I bet. And that's what I think when I visited my first co-op last year. I think I said to somebody I was with, I was like, this is like, it's a logistical feat, I think, to make this happen. It is very impressive. I was just totally blown away. Okay, so Julie, I'm gonna pop to you next because I know you have to leave soon because you have a co-op to run, right? So I just want to ask you before you go. Can you tell us kind of like a little bit of what to expect? Like, what is a day in the life like? What can students expect if they were to attend your co-op?
We have pre-K through seniors in high school, and our pre-K and our kindergarten, they are self-contained with one teacher, other than they go to music, and we have a music teacher. We've been fortunate we have a music teacher, like a former music teacher for our littles and a former music teacher for our older kids. So they get to do some of the those music activities. But then the rest, and then our kids up till eighth grade, they will do a reading class, a writing class, a math class, and a science class. Reading, and yeah. And then we have an elective period, and they don't really get to choose, but it is they each get about 8 to 9 week rotation: drama, art, and music. And then we also have about 50 minutes for lunch. We are in an amazing location. And so we have a big gym and we have a playground. And so they get 25 minutes to eat, 25 minutes to play on the playground or in the gym. And our high school students, it is run a little bit different, but this year we do have a certified science teacher who has brought hands-on science activities for our high school students, which has been kind of amazing to watch and kind of fun to watch. But and sorry if it's getting noisy, that they're passing out here by my door, but we do science, and then also we have our music teacher who is teaching music appreciation also for our high school students. We have an hour for them to just work on their curriculum. They get an hour for lunch, and then we are bringing in speakers for them. We just today had Micah Burke, who was fantastic. She's scholarships and FAFSA, and just explaining, kind of walking these kids through what they should do. We also had somebody from the eye bank who came in and brought an eye and let us all look at it and explained careers in that type of field, and a mortician. We're having, the business school from Price Business School at OU came in and spoke. We're just wanting those high school students to get an idea of what's out there that they may not have thought about for career-wise.
That's really cool. So it's like a high school career day that just kind of they're getting it over and over again. That's so neat.
Yes. Oh, and one other thing for our high school kids, the clubs from Epic, we have whole health and we have a step club. And then one of our own teachers does drama. And so the last hour, our high school students, they actually do get to choose which one of those that they want to go to. But Epic, and it's Jessica Ponder's
Yeah.
team, but I can't remember the official name, but they've come and they're offering Epic clubs to our students.
Oh, wow. No,
Yeah.
that's really cool. I'm glad you shared that. Oh my gosh, thank you, Julie. So that's really neat. So, like we said, it's so much more than just getting that direct instruction time of working on your math or your English, which is very important, right? We all agree. But there's just so much more that it's about, reaching the child in every aspect, not just academically, but giving them their options of what comes after school and kind of letting them find their interests and discover themselves. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Julie. And if you have to go, I totally understand. We really appreciate you coming. Okie doke. So let's see. Who do we want to go to next? Let me see who's next on my list. How about Amy? You popped up next. You want to tell us a little bit about how your co-op is run?
Okay, so we are very fortunate to have a great facility at a church in Lawton. And so basically, when everyone shows up in the morning, we have two doors where students enter. So we try to keep our little kids and our middle school kids separated for safety issues and for comfort, because that's very intimidating for the little guys. Um, but we are also very fortunate to have an area in the church where it's called the Sunshine Room, and it has big screens. So we have started a morning routines that helps the kids like, no, okay, I need to come in, sit down. There's, a video playing. They do the flag salute, different things like that that you would do in a traditional setting, but they may not be used to. So we do that with our elementary kids, our middle school kids. We meet in a large area, so it's an open room concept, but we have 4 pods set up. So our middle school kids have a rotation for math, reading, writing, and a study hall. So in the study hall, they can get help on anything that they're working on in their curriculum. So it just provides that extra support for them. We also have a pull-out resource room that has a SPED teacher, so that if we have students who are struggling and need more of that one-on-one setting, we can pull them out in there. And then our high school kids have a staggered schedule that they only show up for about an hour at a time, but they have a really beautiful loft where they can sit. They have couches, they have big chairs, just the whole high school setting that they love. But our high school teacher, she's really doing a great job of hitting on like the citizenship test, um, knocking out some Neptune Navigate, answering those questions, things like that with our students. Um, and then also, just like Julie was saying, we have a gym so that our little guys, when they're there for a long time, they need that time to go and run and get some energy out. Yeah, however, let me say this. On Tuesdays, we can only meet for 2 hours because of the church schedules. So on Thursdays, we have a longer time, which works out a lot better for our students.
Very cool. I love that you mentioned the gym because, like you said, those kids need to run out some energy. And again, it's all about, getting those kids a chance to also have, to interact with their peers and learn what it's like to fight over the same ball, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm
Even our
sure.
middle school kids, they see the little kids walking through to go to the gym, and they're just like, it's like they're drooling over ice cream because they're
Yeah.
like, we want to go to the gym. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, they love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Well, that's so cool. Thank you so much for sharing, Amy. Okay, next I see Andy. So I got to visit Andy's co-op last year and I was truly like blown away. And I'm sure I would be at everybody's co-ops. This is just the one that I went to last year. So I'm excited to hear from you, Andy. Can you tell us a little bit about how you guys run?
Sure. So we are at a facility that that has like an indoor kids fun playground, and we have a gym and like that kind of stuff, like the other co-ops. So traditionally, our schedule is the kids come And a lot of them are in families of more than, 2 kids, 3 kids, up to 9 kids. And so we serve like the other co-ops pre-K through high school. In addition, we also sometimes have Epic Beginnings come and they do such story time with 0 to 3-year-olds. Um, and so when they come in, um, we have two different type of buildings. So pre-K through fourth come into the fund, like the one building, and then fifth through high schools in the other building checking in. We do have like a fast pass where they can check in before they come, and they can pick their electives for the day in the afternoon. So when they first come, we do academic focus, math, language arts. And then we have lunch, and that's usually about 30 minutes. And then we start right into electives. Now, those are put there to address the whole child, build interest, background knowledge, all the things that, and it's built, it changes because the kid's interest, they'll say, hey, I'm interested in this. And so we'll bring somebody in that has like survival skills, or like how to do things that the kids are interested in. And then we offer it as electives, and we partner with not just the teachers in our co-op that have skills to do some of these things. We try to find people and specialists in the community, and in addition to that, vendors. And so looking in the learning fund and finding community vendors nearby that would be willing to come and assist us in this. So we have a ninja course instructor, and talking about getting the energy out. So we found that having a person there to kind of keep it organized and structured, and that they could still do things that allowed their energy to get out, and also learn cooperation, agility, balance, all the different things that they might be learning in a traditional PE class. And so we've invited that. We have a OKC Storm vendor that comes and does a sport. And so every 6 to 7 weeks, he changes the sport. So for our day, we've been doing basketball. And so we're soon going to switch to, I believe it's volleyball. And then we switch to track. And so we're just trying to do things that the kids are interested in, mind you. So I think he is also surveying the kids that are coming and seeing what do they want to do next. And what do you want to try that you've never tried before, like pickleball or something. And then, we have those active type electives, but we also have brought in, like the other lady was saying, drama and music. And so trying to reach fine arts kiddos. And so we do have piano and guitar lessons there. And, we try to also, in addition, for those kids that don't have learning funds, we try to offer a free elective for each age group. So we divide the kids out into age groups where necessarily like littles are not going to be with big kids, and they're doing their own things. And so the teachers, more than likely, we pull together and come up with ideas, and we do like a pretend store for the littles, and we have a Lego wall and Tinkertown, strategy games, and those are just things that we've put together that the kids are interested in. And then, like the other teacher said, having Epic different clubs joining in with us, so the Gamers Club, STEAM, other things like that.
I love how you shared about how you do have the learning fund vendors that come and offer your electives, which is great for our students that have a learning fund. They can utilize that and participate in those electives. But I know we had talked about this last week. I love that you guys also provide things for our students that maybe come in after that day and they don't have a learning fund. Those kids still get to participate. And you mentioned how the teachers kind of come together. You guys put your heads together and say, what can you offer for these kids? And you guys had some fun ideas that you shared. And so it's just about, well, because like earlier when I asked you what are the requirements to participate, because one of the things I was thinking was like, do you have to have a learning fund? And you were like, no, because we can find things to do that don't require a learning fund. So, well, I love to hear everything that you guys do. Um, it's really neat to hear how creative you are and how all the teachers work together to kind of create this. Really, it just sounds so fun. Like I would love to go and hang out. I know when I went to Andy's group, those kids were having a blast. I am telling you what, they were having so much fun. I loved getting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, if
Okay. Oh, sorry, go
guys,
ahead.
if you have an opportunity, I would love you to go out and see these co-ops. They are doing amazing work. So
Yes.
urge everyone to go and see just the effort, the passion that these, teachers bring to the table. Everything they do is for the students. So
Mhm.
yeah.
No, this is really cool. Well, thank you guys for sharing. I think, Sarah, you were going to hop over and kind of talk to Mallory a little bit. Mallory's joined us about
Yes,
her co-op. Is that right?
absolutely. Welcome, Mallory. We're glad you are with us.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have some questions for you.
Yeah,
Can you discuss maybe students that might need to utilize a modified setting in a co-op and maybe what that looks like?
absolutely. So we also kind of partner with Andy and do also the same facility. So we are also in a indoor kind of gym that we quantify as a sensory gym, which is wonderful for our students who are maybe more moderate to severe on the spectrum of, modification needs. And so we get to have those kids who get wonderful STEM and get sensory input by the gym that we're in, which is wonderful. So our co-op does look a little bit different than what you would expect at a standard co-op. Like I said, we do have access to a place where we are allowed to get like physical input, which is really warranted for our students, but we structure it to where we have a much smaller setting. So we only have around 30 students that attend co-op at a time. Typically we're under 20 so that we can provide, more one-on-one support if, any sort of like behavior modification techniques are utilized or anything like that. And we also do academic work just the same as any other co-op would. We absolutely demand rigor from our students. We do have high expectations because we want them to have successful, productive lives. So our day is structured in about 30-minute blocks just because, I know some adults that have trouble paying attention for that long. So we try and keep things really moving. We're very targeted with our just our routines that we do. We have a visual schedule for everyone. And so on Mondays, we take a little bit more time than any other co-op does. So we stay together for around 5 hours on Mondays. And we too are very fortunate to have art, music, and science come in and offer electives, as well as offering the sensory gym as an elective too for students who maybe don't have that learning fund piece in place. And so it's really wonderful. I'm really lucky. And then on Wednesdays, we also pair that with a community experience where we are working with all of our students in real world settings. So we might, go to check out like the Votech Center and do a tour of programs that they offer that are modified for our high school students. Or for our younger kiddos, we went to Pumpkinville today at the Myriad Gardens. So we talked about bugs, about the life cycle of pumpkins, and just had a great day interacting. So it's about building a lot more independence, setting higher expectations, and just getting into the routine of being around and an integral part of our community.
That is so amazing. I just loved hearing that. Made me smile. Just
Good.
how much fun. Yeah, I like Rita said, visiting the co-ops. I have been able to visit one here where I live a couple of times, and it is just it's amazing to watch the number of students and teachers in there, and everything is orchestrated and it is flowing so beautifully. And your explanation of your kiddos there was really beautiful, to be honest with you. I love
You.
hearing
Yeah.
that. So you kind of mentioned as well, maybe fostering inclusion where other students come in and kind of act as helpers. Can you kind of touch on that too?
Oh, of course I can gladly. So as with every other human being that we are fortunate to share our planet with, we want our kids to be intermingled consistently with peers. And sometimes we can do a disservice by lumping people with like-mindedness or maybe, the same types of interests together. So what we try to do is we try to incorporate as many of our general education students as we can to serve as peer supports and helpers on Mondays, and then to also go out in the community with us us on Wednesdays. Like for example, we had 3 peer supports today on our field trip, which is always really wonderful just because you see them asking, our students are asking about them. They're wanting to be included. And the first step to really gaining independence and gaining any sort of like sense of self and that identity, I apologize, is developing friendships. And they make that far more exciting. And it's really wonderful to see our students do that.
I imagine they feed off of each other. Both
Oh,
are
goodness,
just,
yes. On a
yeah,
great way and on a not so
right,
great way, as
right,
we all have seen before.
right. I just imagine that friendship is amazing to watch
It
too.
is.
That
It
bonding.
is.
That's
And
seriously,
it's
that's
wonderful to see
beautiful.
like our kids are holding doors open for people. They're pressing elevator buttons. They're understanding that I can, I can say hello. These are, it's learning how to be in a space that is not at home, which is honestly, I think one of the most incredible things about our school is that we are able to provide those experiences with students. And I truly believe that that is the difference, where EPIC provides a more rounded education than maybe some other places are able to, which is really great for us.
It's really beautiful to hear that. It's encouraging. I feel like it's extremely encouraging for all of our families to hear these stories. So
Yeah.
we are so glad you're here, Mallory. Seriously, thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing all of this with
Thank
us.
you.
Andy, I'm going to jump over to you. Can you define what a sister co-op is?
Sure. So we functioned last year. We started last year with just one group of teachers. We started with about 8 to 9 teachers. And then in the second semester, we added a couple more teachers. And families started approaching us. And a lot of times these co-ops seem to evolve by what the families want. We're here to um, put kids first, and what do the families need to partner with us to make that successful. And so as that kind of comes around, we sent out a survey, and some families were really happy with just one day a week because they have their own schedule of things they do throughout the week. And then other families were like, hey, our kids really need the one more day of socialization and this kind of thing. And so we partnered with another group of teachers who had their own co-op. And so we work together where they're on one day and our families are able to go to their co-op and ours, and then their families likewise can go to our day and their own day. So it just gives a little bit of options for our families that wanted the 2 days. And we can spiral teach. We can get different ways of teaching by different teachers and different modes of teaching, more hands-on versus a different way. And so it's a win for the kids if they go to sometimes a different teacher on a different day and they're spiraling the same standard, but they're just getting it in a different way, and it just presents it in a whole way for a child. So that sister co-op again is where there's a whole nother group of teachers that have created a co-op, and then we work together, that we share our families, where our families have the option to go to their day. So going back to that requirement piece, the teacher of record has to be in one of those groups, and then they are allowed to go between the 2 different groups.
That's really cool. So it offers families the opportunity to maybe, like you said, get to go 2 days a week, but also maybe I'm just thinking about like my family schedule. And some weeks Tuesday might work great and other weeks it doesn't. So I could go on the other day, right? And kind of still get the same standard, like what you said. So that is so cool. I love that. And I mean, that's just creative. And it's a theme that we hear a lot at Epic is you always take family feedback, right? So it's just really cool that to hear that you guys are doing that as well, taking that feedback and trying to make it work.
Hey, Ashley, can I add to
Yes,
that?
yes, please.
Something that I really love about our area is that we work closely even with Comet Academy, and it's really about serving those families' needs, and that we're not in competition with Comet Academy, and they're not in competition with our co-ops. They have families that say, you know what, this is too much. And so they refer those families over to a teacher who's with the co-op, or likewise, we have a family who needs more. And so we refer them over to a Comet Academy teacher. So it's really nice to be a team of one in our area, even though we're doing very different things, because it is about meeting the needs of the family. And that's the most important thing is serving that child and making sure that child gets what they need for academics.
Absolutely. Yes, Amy, thank you for bringing that up. I agree. It's very refreshing to hear, ultimately what we all want here, regardless of what model we're with or any of that. We just want what's best for the child. And I've seen that proven time and time again. Like, how can we get them what they need? Because every student is different. And so yeah, thank you, Amy, for sharing that. Well, Amy, now that I've got you, I had you next for a question, so that worked out great. Could you tell me do most teachers, and this kind of similar to what Sarah just asked, kind of in the same realm, but do most teachers teach with just one co-op, or are there other times where some teachers choose to teach with multiple co-ops? And if so, why would they do that?
Okay, so the teachers in my area are just with one co-op.
Hmm.
And as far as I know, we only have one co-op in our area. Um, but at the same time, that is possible that teachers could work with different co-ops. If they have the time to do that, um, absolutely. Like there are no rules that says you have to stick with one. And I think that's a great idea if that works for the teacher and their families. Yes, I think the more we can benefit our families, absolutely, they could definitely do that.
Yeah, and so I think, something that we were talking about was that it would allow their students more opportunities, kind of like with the sister co-op, more chances to participate if they want more time or if maybe they want more flexibility in their days. So that's really, really neat. Well, thank you, Amy. Okay, Rita. So this is a cool one. I was really excited to learn this, and we've touched on it a little bit, but do these co-ops currently have any partnerships in place with other Epic groups? And could you tell us about that?
Yes, Ashley. We've partnered with, so many teams within Epic to bring, some services directly to our co-op. So currently we've partnered with the tech team just to help, streamline all the processes when it comes to, scheduling their space and finding their meeting places at the micro sites and partner sites. We've partnered with college and career team and they have been amazing. They have assigned, an advisor to all the co-op groups, and these amazing people go out to the site and help our co-ops, work with their kids just to take care of ICAP and FAFSA and so many other things, that they do, and we really appreciate them. Um, we've partnered also with the security team and they're going to go out and train the co-ops on safety and security trainings, just so they know how to react or how to deal with some cases. And I'm really excited about that opportunity. Now we are talking with the counseling team, um, and we're looking forward to them bringing, the services directly to our co-ops. And we also work with the feds. So we're looking for just Epic has so much to offer, so many resources. So I'm reaching out just to see who all, to partner with to make sure the needs of our students are being met. So yes.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. And I had no idea that you guys had partnered with the college and career advisors. And like, what a genius thing to do. Because if you have a high schooler, they've got a lot of things that they have to get done. And it takes that pressure of trying to make it happen, like make those meetings happen, kind of takes it off the parent a little bit, takes it off the student because they know, well, my advisor's going to be at my co-op next week. I'm going to get this done because they're there. I mean, I think that is so neat. And then somebody mentioned earlier that they were had met some with Epic Beginnings, which I think is really cool for the siblings to get a chance to kind of get involved. And it's just all about, I love how you said, Rita, about getting them plugged into everything Epic offers because so many families aren't aware of what's out there. And I love that you're doing the work to help find those things and get them connected because anything to make the student and families' lives like easier. Um, I think that is so cool.
Yeah. That's the whole model of EPIC. That's what we stand for.
Sure.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and so another question for you, Rita. Are there any English language learner co-ops? This is something that I didn't know as well, and you kind of brought to my attention.
Yes, actually, we do have two. So we have one group in Oklahoma City area, and we have another one that just opened up in Tulsa area. So we have those two groups, and they do amazing work. They work with ELL and newcomers, and we're actually looking to start a group for our gifted and talented kids. So that's something that I'm kind of looking for teachers to start up that group because it will benefit our kids.
Yeah, I love that. So kind of finding your specialty, right? Like the thing that this group that's what their focus is for some of those groups, like Mallory's group. She kind of has a little bit of a specialty. And so I love that you guys are finding that. That's really cool. Thank you, Rita.
You guys have been so awesome today with all of your answers. I've learned so much that I didn't know, so I can only imagine how much our families will, reap the benefits from all that you're sharing today. Um, Andy, I have a question for you. So occasionally there are probably siblings, maybe on a different teacher roster. Can they join in a co-op if there's space, and how would that work?
So I'm going to speak kind of in a way that the way that we approach this, but it may be different for different co-ops. The teacher of record has to be with at least one member of the family for our co-op. So, for example, we have a sister that's with a teacher in our co-op, but let's say the brother sees a different teacher that's not a part of the co-op. And so for this special circumstance, we usually have the family just, consult with the co-op teachers on advisement for that. So how Amy would handle that, or Mallory, or any of the other co-ops. In ours, we handle this where we are okay with the sibling being a part with us, even if they're with a different EPIC teacher or model, where they're still a part of the family, and we serve the whole family. And so they're invited to be a part with us. So it does depend on the co-op. So again, the families would just need to seek advisement from the co-op lead or their teacher of record for advisement of how that co-op's procedure is on that.
Perfect. That is amazing advice. Thank you so much for answering that.
Yeah, and I think it's important to stress, I think that's the beauty of the co-ops is that they all get to run independently. You know, they all have their own way of running. But it's just important to keep in mind when we're talking about different situations. Ultimately, it's best, like you said, Andy, to just uh reach out to that co-op and find out how they like to do things because they all operate a little bit differently. Okay. Well, I have one more question. And Sarah, if you have any more questions, you let me know. But I have one more question I was hoping to ask you, Rita. So y'all have given us so much incredible information. I'm ready to join a co-op tomorrow. I'm enrolling myself.
You are
So
very welcome.
thank you. But if we have a family that's listened to this today and they're interested in getting involved, how would you tell them to proceed? What is their next step, maybe?
So I will encourage them to reach out to their teachers and just talk to them about, hey, if there's any co-op in the area, and also talk to their principal. So that would be their first place to start. And then if those teachers have more questions, maybe have them reach out to me and we go from there. But their first line is to talk to their teachers and their
Yeah.
principals.
Absolutely. And it seems to be, it's kind of funny. I think almost every webinar we do, no matter what the topic is, when we ask this question of if they want to get involved, where do they start? Pretty much the answer is always reach out to your teacher. So it's a bit of a theme here. But yeah, well, thank you so much. Okay, Sarah, do you have anything else?
I don't. I don't think I have any more questions. They were so amazing. They answered everything and then some. Um, yeah, you guys were great. Seriously. I've learned so much about kind of like Ashley, I kind of want to join a co-op tomorrow too. It's so much fun. So if I go showing up at one of y'all's, I guess I don't know, just let me in because I would have way more fun, I think, with you guys. What you're doing is amazing. And I am so excited that we got to showcase that today and maybe share this with a lot of families who aren't aware that co-ops are even a thing or an option. So yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we've learned so much about the numerous benefits of belonging to a co-op. It isn't just about the academics and how important it is to get plugged in and what these families can learn. Um, we all believe that school doesn't have to conform to a traditional model. And so with this, I firmly believe that it's a great option for our families if it kind of fits, what their family is wanting to do. You guys are offering an amazing, amazing option. Um, so I wanted to point out that next week is fall break, which everyone is super excited about, I'm sure. So there will be no webinar next week or the week after. So I want to just mention that we'll be returning on October 30th for another Ask Epic, and we'll be discussing school clubs. You guys kind of touched on school clubs today, so that's another thing we like to put out there to make our families aware of all the different clubs that we have available, and they're almost too numerous to count, to be honest. So we do like to throw that out there, so you guys don't want to miss that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Those of you that watched today. And again, thank you so much to Rita and everybody that joined us, Andy, Amy, Mallory, Julie. I hope I didn't miss anyone. We're so glad you guys could come. I know you're busy and I know you all have a million things to do, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to get to share more about what you do. It was really fun to hear. So
Thank you.
those of you, yeah, of course. So those of you that joined, maybe you didn't get to see the entire webinar and you're wondering, oh man, I feel like I missed some good stuff. We would love for you to take a peek on the Epic website. The recording of this webinar will be posted there. So if you go to the website and click About, and then there's a drop down that says Ask Epic, all of our past recordings are posted there. So it may take a week or so, but it'll be up there. And you can watch this entire webinar or any of our other webinars oh, I see we have a hand. Let me see here. Was Brittany? Oh, sorry, Brittany. Do you have a question? Where can I find out more as a vendor? Oh, maybe I would say, Rita, would you say, so it sounds like Brittany is a vendor and she would like to get involved with a co-op. Should she reach out to you?
Yes, have her reach out to me and I can
Okay.
get the information and send it to the co-op leads.
Okay. So Brittany, if you want to send an email to our email, I can help get you in touch with Rita. Because I don't have everybody's email addresses with me right this second. So if you want to reach out to us at edt@epiccharterschools.org, we will get you connected to Rita. Okay, so we talked about the recordings will be posted. If you still have questions, again, please reach out to Sarah and I's department. We would love to answer any questions you have if it's about what we've talked about today or anything else about Epic. That's what we're here for. So you can give us a call at 405-400-0651 or email us at edt@epiccharterschools.org. So we're so happy to help you out however we can. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope that the rest of you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you, ladies.